But it's like, yeah.
That's not good. We welcome you to the second home game of the season for the Indy 11 as they take on Atlanta United 2. Thanks for joining us here on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. Alongside Brad Hodder, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us. The big thing that changed a week ago when we were not broadcasting the Indy 11 game at Rio Grande Valley was a victory. The Indy 11, a 2-1 win, both goals being scored by Stefano Pino.
Life is always good after you get those first 3 points.
Well, Stefano Pino, again, a guy that we have known so well for the Indy 11, having played against Indy from 2015 through 2017. 43 goals in those 3 seasons, including 9 against the Indy 11. Now he's got 3 in the last 3 matches, and all coming away from Indianapolis.
I'll tell you what, just absolute magic from Pino to finish. But don't lose sight of the brilliance on the ball from Jerome and the ball from Briggs.
So again, there wasn't much in the way of scoring chances for the Indy 11 last week. Thankfully, they converted the opportunities that they had, both coming in half number 2.
Yeah, he is on fire right now, and it's exciting when he comes home and he gets to play in front of the home crowd when he's on this hot streak.
And Stefano Pino will be in the starting 11 for head coach Mark Lowry, and who will be joining him? We will tell you about that coming up in a matter of moments. Again, just a few minutes away from kickoff of tonight's match, the Indy 11 looking for their first home victory of the season. Atlanta United 2 is the opponent. Starting lineups, keys to the match, and more come your way next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer here on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. Getting us back in our ears. And I guess got it. Check, 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 check. Yep. No, he had me turn myself. But if we get to program, it's going to have to turn. We'll turn it down and deal with it that way. I'm not hearing it now, no. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you in part by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health Sports Network, exceptional care simply delivered. Our starting lineups presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers as both teams make their way into the pitch here at Carroll Stadium. First for the Indy 11, not surprisingly, Brad, a very similar lineup to what we saw a week ago. Good news is Jonas Fjellberg was injured and out last week, back in the starting 11 this time around.
Speaking of consistency, how is it Nicky Law, with all of the miles on his legs, is in every single match?
He led the Indy 11 in matches played and matches started, I should say, a season ago. And of note, Ioze and Arteaga once again available as substitutions off the bench for Indy 11 this week. For Jack Collison's Atlanta United 2 squad, the big news is that Jackson Conway is available to them. He had a hat trick and was named the USL Championship Player of the Week earlier this season.
Yeah, and Robbie Mertz is the engine in the midfield, and I'll tell you what, you got to keep an eye on McFadden coming off that back line.
Oh, I'm sure Indy 11 fans will not forget Aiden McFadden, because Atlanta United 2 scored twice here last year. Both goals were by McFadden, a 1-0 win in September, and a 1-1 draw on October the 2nd that effectively ended the postseason chances for the Indy 11 with 4 weeks left to play. Time now for our injury update. It is brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine. It is a clean bill of health for the Indy 11. Now, one name you will not see in the 18 tonight is Neville Hackshaw. It's not injury related. He is just back in country after playing for Trinidad and Tobago a couple of weeks ago during an international window. I would expect to see Neville back on the field, likely for next Sunday's match against Orange County.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to have him back, just whether you see him in the 18 or whether you see him in the starting lineup. But how many times have we done a match without Neville and come away with no points? And you take a look at these last 3, they're starting to put together, results in grabbing points when Neville's not in the lineup. That bodes well for when he returns.
Quick check of our keys this match. They're presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor for the Indy 11. Mr. Hodder, the floor is yours.
Yeah, press high. You take a look at how the 11 came out against Lou City in that first half, created a lot of chances off that, and then LA Galaxy 2, same thing, generated a lot of stuff in the attacking third with that high press. I'm inventing a word tonight, Rakestraw, boxecution. The execution in the box has got to be better. You look at that first half against Galaxy 2, 9 shots, none on goal. You take a look at the match last week's, only 2 shots on goal. Thank goodness Pino scored both of those. So the boxecution's got to be better. For Atlanta 2, defensively sound. They gave up 4 against Detroit in their last match, and some of that was just poor execution in the box, and they have to be ruthless in the box. Coach Collison said on both sides he wants it defensively, and he wants them to be fearless in their attacking 18.
Atlanta United 2 was ruthless against the Indy 11 a season ago. They pulled a point in all 4 matchups. These 2 teams were in the same division last year, so they played 4 times. One of those on August the 8th was a 6-2 win by Atlanta United 2, the second most goals allowed in the history of the Indy 11.
Well, that one had, a 30-second start, and you're down a goal, and that changes absolutely everything when the game begins that way.
You got a nice wave from Coach Collison before the match.
How about that? We had a good conversation this morning.
Jack is in his 2nd season as the man in charge of this Atlanta United 2 program. We thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. And you talked about press, and immediately You're seeing this for the Indy 11, and we saw this 2 weeks ago when LA Galaxy 2 was here. A lot of high press, a lot of trouble handling the wind on this east to west pitch, and it led to early opportunities that simply put the Indy 11 couldn't cash in on.
Yeah, and the thing with it is you spend so much energy pressing high that you have to get conversions out of it. Because if you don't, the tank is empty later in the game.
One thing, though, that I will say for this Indy 11 team is that they are now in a stretch of real estate where there are not any midweek matches. The next time they will play in a midweek scenario, as a foul is called at midfield against Atlanta United 2, that next midweek match doesn't come until Wednesday, June 8th. In other words, maybe we'll see a little less squad rotation, and you can empty everything you've got in the tank for a match like this one.
And I tell you, that's, with the pickup of Asante and adding a key piece like that, to be able to get some kind of solidified lineup for when he gets here is important, because then he knows what he's dealing with. You know what you're dealing with.
Elliot Panico gets the start yet again. He started in all 6 USL Championship matches so far. The young man on loan from Nashville SC in Major League Soccer entered tonight's match in second place in the USL Championship in terms of saves at 16. David Garces, his opposite number for Atlanta United 2, is currently tied for 3rd in terms of saves with 14. There's Garces' first touch of the evening. These two teams played 4 times last year. They will play just twice this year. The 11 returns the favor to the northern Atlanta suburbs and Kennesaw State University towards the end of September. This will be Atlanta United 2's final year in the USL Championship, much like the Indy 11. This is year number 5 for them in the championship. And they'll play MLS next pro next year. And a fraction whistled against the Indy 11 as Aguilera was trying to pounce on an opportunity.
Close too. That energy, if that doesn't fall, it's at Aguilera's feet, and he's right at the top of the box. But you take a look at what Atlanta United 2 is looking to do here, and they're looking to possess that ball, see if they can't bait that press, bait that trap, have them chase the ball and wear out some of their energy.
That trainer being waved at here as there was a full-on 3-car pileup at the center of the field. You see A.J. Cochran wearing the Ukrainian-inspired captain's armband tonight. The player that is still down for the Indy 11. A good look as to exactly who that might be.
Might be Brown.
I'm thinking so from a midfield perspective. And the foul was whistled against Indy, so it'll be Atlanta United 2 that will have the free kick from just past the midfield stripe. Let's take a look at exactly how this collision played out. There was 4 players involved in that, obviously.
Yeah.
Firmino was the last player to get up for Atlanta United 2. Conway, the player that was able to stay upright the entire time. It was Sam Brown who was the worst for wear. Thankfully now able to get up. Sam's first year with the Indy 11 after spending 3 seasons with Real Monarchs. Sam, one of 3 former Monarchs that play for the Indy 11 this season. Look at Jackson Conway, who scored all of his goals this year for Atlanta United 2 in 1 match. He has 3 of the 6 goals that AU2 have scored on the season. Leon gives chase and able to play the throw in for the Indy 11 here in minute number 5. Leon has appeared in every match so far this season for Indy. In fact, he has started in every match for Indy this year. Fjellberg at a full sprint. Garces able to clear that away. Notre Dame product in his 2nd season.
There it is.
The Atlanta United 2 system, and there was that potential opportunity to pounce for Fjellberg up top.
Look here on the press. You've got Powder and Law pressing higher up to join Fjellberg and Pino when they're playing that ball across the back line.
That ball ricochets off of McFadden. Timmer with the throw-in. This portion of tonight's match presented by Select. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at SelectSportAmerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. Here's Lamb. The things that you will see with this Atlanta United 2 program is young men that are making their way up the food chain, if you will. From academy players with Atlanta United to USL Championship contracts, and then a handful of players that are on MLS deals at this point. Conway is one of those players, Centeno another. He's playing for the USL Championship side, but is on the Major League Soccer books. As we mentioned last year for Atlanta United 2 playing at this level, they allowed United New York Red Bulls 2, LA Galaxy 2 amongst those that will be calling it a day in the USL Championship. Law was the target. Player went down and immediately grabbing the boot is a young man making his first start for Atlanta United 2 in Nelson Orji. Young man that will turn 20 years of age in May, is from Nigeria, but has spent time in FC Porto's academy, as well as playing in Hungary.
Oh, man.
Just got that boot caught in the turf here at Carroll Stadium.
My ankles hurt watching it, but take a look at that. Here's your debut. You're 6-7 minutes in, and you're thinking, oh, no, I got to finish this.
Hop back up and continue on. Foul whistle against Aguilera of the Indy 11. Nelson played 26 minutes as a sub in last weekend's loss. A 4-0 blasting at the hands of Detroit City FC. A match that saw Atlanta finish the match with 9 on the field. Had 2 late red cards. Frankly, did not factor into the scoring decision. Trevor James's ball club put up 4 in the back of the net, and then last night in the rain at Keyworth Stadium, a 1-0 victory over Birmingham Legion.
Go with him!
Here's Fjellberg. Powder. Behind Aguilera. Ricky Law in the midfield. Touch just by Aguilera. Tough spot, but
that was his only option there. Is he's got to try and draw some contact.
Timmer, quick on the restart. Nicky Law with the hustle, able to work the throw in. Tonight's match presented in part by Keystone Construction. Keystone Construction, it's more than construction. We build a vision. Example of midfield pressure there by the Indy 11. So far it's been Indy that has been dictating tempo in this match. Ishak Jerome with a fantastic lead for Fjellberg. So Orji able to recover and play that ball sideways for an 11 throw-in.
Yeah, great run by Fjellberg, though. That ball sits up just a little bit more. He's able to cut in behind Nelson and hold him off.
Fjellberg took a bit of a wallop that time. Referee says play on. Fjellberg is just now getting to his feet and is well offside. Did not factor to that pass as Pino was the target for Indy. Brown picks the pocket. Pino's got an opportunity. Pino gets taken down. It's going to be just outside of the 18. I agree with the real estate.
That's the right call. That is the right call.
It's not a penalty. Now, what level of potential card is it? Or is it simply going to be a foul all of 19 paces away from the goal line? It's a yellow. And this is an Atlanta United 2 team that finished the match with 9 a week ago. They're their young defenders already, has picked up a yellow here in just the 11th minute of the match. By the way, I'll share this stat with you in case of the reverse broadcaster's jinx. The Indy 11 have never scored a goal in the 11th minute of a match.
Get out of here.
They've got 29 seconds to get organized and try to rectify that stat on this opportunity. Going for goal here, or are you passing it to a teammate?
I mean, you may, if there's not a good window, you may have a quick touch and somebody else pulls the trigger, but this is a shot.
The wall is set up just in front of the 6-yard box. Powder, Jerome, Law, all lining up for it. The 11th minute opportunity has gone by. The Indy 11 would gladly take solace in simply a 1-goal lead. 4 goals scored so far this year for the Indy 11. Only 1 of them have been in the first half. Nicky Law gives it a hit. Nicky Law finds the back of the net.
What a hit.
The Indy 11 are at home and in front for the first time this season. It is time to cue the smoke, and Indy a goal to the good.
You take a look at the way he stood over that ball. He knew from the moment it was spotted where he was going to put that ball.
Nicky Law led the team in minutes played a season ago, led the team in matches started, an occasional goal scorer, then a fantastic opportunity for the veteran over 500 matches in England and Scotland. Indy with a 1-goal advantage.
You got to think that Garces was thinking maybe Powder was going to take it because he way overplayed the near post on that.
You also got to remember he is fighting that sun, no clouds to get in the way towards that west end. And again, everything dictated by the Indy 11 early in this match. Sports, this match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. Garces, in that wind, just grabbed that ball and spins it backwards. And McFadden, even though that didn't exactly look graceful, that might have been the worst thing in the world to happen, is let that ball go to the sidelines and hit the reset button. Garces has been in goal now for 4 of the 7 matches for Atlanta United 2 this year. He's allowed 7 goals and 14 saves coming in. He's a young man that played a couple of matches for this team 4 years ago on an academy deal, and then went to play at UCLA for 4 seasons. That will be a foul against A.J. Cochran, and that will be a card as well. A.J. Cochran picks up a card for the first time this year. A.J. starting his 5th consecutive match for Indy in the absence of Neville Hackshaw, rocking the captain's armband. His 2nd season with the Indy 11. Of his many stops along the way before coming to Indianapolis, A.J. also a former member of Atlanta United 2, and understand the foul there. Card might be a bit severe, but also understand the denial of the opportunity in the run of play.
I like that thought. Ball into McFadden, and then see if you can't create a 2v1 off of it.
Great service by McFadden. Just couldn't find a teammate to latch on to it. McFadden, again, as we mentioned, played at the University of Notre Dame, had 8 goals in his time there. Had 8 goals last year to lead Atlanta United 2. Elliot Panico will hit the reset button for the Indy 11. Tonight's match presented in part by Bet Rivers, the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11. Bet Rivers, bet with a winner. Kilo adding a goal to his point total for the season. Had the first assist of the year on the Pino goal, the 1-1 draw against Lou City back on March 26th. Fan listed as a defender, but has no problem getting forward into the attack for Atlanta United, too.
And he's relentless. I mean, the whole game, he'll do that for 90 minutes.
Well, his goal that was last scored here on October the 2nd was in the 95th minute. Berg, I believe, touched it last, he did. Coming here for AU2. Forward by Firmino. No teammate there to latch onto it. Pino giving a good run, going to make Garces play it honestly, and that he does. Nearly a miscue there. Pino was more concerned with getting onside than chasing down the opportunity, and understandably so.
Switch. That's a clever turn. I like that. How about Robbie Merckx wearing the captain's band? We've seen him now for 4 years, 2 with Pittsburgh, 2 here with AU2. Have loved every minute. Such a workhorse in the middle of the field.
And for 2 years for Bob Lilly. Congratulations to Bob, becoming the all-time leader in USL Championship coaching victories. Of course, Pittsburgh is never an easy team to play since Bob got there, and you'll see them twice during the course of this season. A conventional schedule for the first time since 2019 of playing no one more than twice during the course of the regular season. And opponents that play Bob Lilly's team are thankful for that.
And I'll tell you what, you take any player that has played for him, and there's a mental toughness that they bring to the training pitch.
Right idea. Jerome steps in the way. Mertz goes to the ground. The referee right in front of him says not enough in down on the nudge by Fjellberg. And Robbie led side in assists a year ago with FUT. The former Michigan Wolverine. No danger just yet here for Atlanta United 2. Giving it a blast and side netting. And they go ahead and cover the entire time. Goal kick coming. Of course, this match is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive partner of the Indy 11.
Well done. Fantastic.
You see Jack Collison. He was named the head coach of this Atlanta United 2 program last June. Unfortunately, Jack had to retire from his playing days at the age of 27, but his playing days included West Ham, Bournemouth, Wigan, and Peterborough United.
You know, sometimes you can find the right personality for the right team. You take a look at this young, fearless AU2 team. Coach Collison is the perfect fit for that.
Well, he had managed U teams and in Atlanta's academy from 2015 on. So this is, we talk about the next step in the progression for these players in the Atlanta United system. It's the next step for him from a coaching perspective as well.
Oh, what a ball.
Defined to Nicky Law. Just wafted one for Stefano Pino. Definitely directs it to Noah Powder. Powder has a window here. Tries to play it through a teammate. Jerome judiciously moving for the usual center back, and a throw in coming here for the Indy 11. By the way, to reference Jack Collison, he is from Wales. Let's give a shout out to the lone member of the Indy 11 to hail from Wales back in 2018. Owain Fawn Williams is coming back to the States. He's going to join another former member of the Indy 11 in Eamon Zayed on the coaching staff as the goalkeeper coach for Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC, squad in USL League One. Great to have Owain back in the States, and Looking forward to making a trip out to see the fellas at some point in time over the course of the season.
How about that? How about the Indy 11 family staying together?
How about this? Brian Revillon with acres of space. Plays it across. Aguilera couldn't get onto it. Pino ended up heading it first and just could not square it up on frame. Goal kick coming here in minute number 21.
And that's almost one of those ones that you wish that he'd let go, and Aguilera's coming in on the backside.
But if you're Pino, you really have any way of
No,
knowing
you're a
that
goal
he's trailing
scorer.
behind
Well,
you?
yeah, and you know you've congested the defenders in the box, but you're also a goal scorer. So.
Another potential turnover as we show you the replay. And the pressure has been unrelenting for the Indy 11. The defensive third of Atlanta United 2 so far. And only a one-goal game, but it frankly has felt like more at times for the Indy 11.
You look at the two different kind of ways that the game is unfolding here. Indy 11's looking to press high, see if they can get repossessions in the attacking third. And if they can't, doing this, looking at that direct ball over the high line from Atlanta to see if they can free a player up top. And you look at AU2, nice, comfortable, controlling the ball across the back line, waiting to see if they can find a seam that the 11 don't shift to, and then looking to play either McFadden or into Mertz and build through that.
Now, we always tell you about other things happening in the USL during the course of the broadcast. The league has these wonderfully well-crafted reads in terms of, hey, here's the next match on national television. I'm going to take a little liberty with the next one because the next match on national television is an Indy 11 match. Is the next time to play coming up on Sunday. The defending USL champions from Orange County make their way for their first ever visit to Carroll Stadium in Indianapolis. That match is next Sunday. It's on ESPN Deportes. It is at 5:30. Now, for our local audience in Indianapolis, you will still see Brad and I on My Indy TV. Again, 5:30 next Sunday, not Saturday, Sunday, one of two Sunday home matches for the Indy 11 this season. And again, national television on ESPN Deportes for that match. Corner kick coming here for the Atlanta United 2. And Firmino remains down behind the play for Atlanta United 2. So no corner coming just yet. So while Nick Firmino is being checked on by the trainer, Firmino has played in all 7 matches, has started all 7 matches for Atlanta United 2 so far this season. 2 goals, good for second best on the team. Mikey Ambrose awaits to steer the ball into play on the corner. But first, Firmino will have to be sent to the sidelines, which means that this trip to the corner flag happens a man down for Atlanta United 2. By the 4th official. Ambrose about to send it in. Good looking bending ball, but Panico with no spot of bother able to get that, and that gets a golf clap level round of applause from Alex Fatanov, his teammate on the training pitch. He is the 3rd goalkeeper for the Indy 11, but for the 2nd time in about 4 or 5 months, he's also a championship-winning goalkeeper for the Indy 11. As a couple of weeks ago, the Indy 11's U19 team won the USL Academy Cup in South Florida. Alex, good to join. We're so happy you could join us, and congratulations on yet another piece of hardware.
Thank you guys very much. It's great to be here. How have you guys been?
Well, we have been good, but we have not been as good as you. What have these last few months been like in terms of the championship hardware you and your friends have been able to put together?
You know, it's definitely unreal. You know, that feeling to go and lift a cup. It's really been surreal. It's definitely been a lot of hard work on and off the training ground. You know, getting the guys on the same page and, you know, just knowing what we're going there and what we're going to do. You know, having an identity when we go down there. So it's just really getting on the same page before we even get to the cup.
Mejia sends it in again. Panico, a momentary bobble. That's because there was contact there and a restart coming for the Indy 11.
You talk about identity. When you look at the champions and the cups that you guys are winning, how much of that identity is steeped in the first team? Is it system and playing style very similar? Are you looking to do that same kind of replication?
Yes, it's very similar. Coach Hickey wants to keep it as similar as possible to the first team, so that way when we get to that first team environment, we're ready to, train with these guys. It's very hard to adapt to a different system. So if we play the same system that the first team do, it'll make it a lot easier for us to, perform in training and, even see some guys on the bench that we've seen in the past couple of weeks.
Let's say Brad asks a fantastic question in terms of system. I'll ask from kind of a different perspective in terms of level of play. You're out here training every day with guys in their 20s and their 30s, guys like Nicky Law that's been 15 years playing in England and Scotland. What's it like to go from that than playing against guys your own age when it comes to these academy tournaments?
It's definitely different, These guys out here, they're very experienced, So I think with me, I'm just trying to learn as much as possible from these professional players when I'm on the training ground because, that's even stuff that I can replicate in my own game. Like I ask Elliot questions when he does stuff. Even when Bobby and Jordan were here, I asked them questions about what they do as well and why they do it. And that's a big part of my game because if I know what I need to do and why I need to do it, then I'm more likely to implement that in my own game.
By the way, tactical yellow card was just taken by Sam Brown. So second yellow shown. An 11 player, A.J. Cochran, had picked one up. Now Sam gets one on the transition opportunity for Atlanta United, too.
One of the toughest adjustments for me was the ball moves differently from where you played just a year or two ago to where it is now. How's that adjustment been? Because a knuckleball at the high school level and club level is sometimes an accident. Here, it's intentional.
Yes, definitely. The ball moves a lot quicker around the field. These guys can pop the ball around with a lot of pace, and they know exactly what they're trying to do. So I definitely have to be on my toes, but just as much as when I'm with the academy as well, because we do play at a very high level. But these guys pop the ball around fantastic, so I need to be on my toes at all times.
Now, how about the adjustment in reading the game? Because you come from, even at the high school and club level, at the lower level, it's a little bit of random. You do have a game plan, you do have something that you're trying to implement, but here everything is pretty much a different read. It's a higher level. How difficult has that adjustment been?
It had been an adjustment that I had to make. It didn't even take a week. It took maybe 2-3 weeks. It's a very different level. They pop the ball around really quickly. So I think it took me about 2 to 3 weeks, and then a couple months in, that's when I started to feel very comfortable. I think this is my third season with the Indy 11 on an academy contract, so it was very hard at such a young age in order to go in and play with these guys who can pop the ball around like that. It was definitely a big adjustment. I think it's really helped my game.
Again, for those that don't know, one of the luxuries of these young men that get these great experience in terms of playing on an academy deal for the Indy 11, they do so as amateurs. So they train with the pros, but they do so as amateurs so they can continue to have the chance to play college soccer. So with that, what does the fall look like for you in terms of a potential college destination?
Yes, I'm committed to play at the University of Louisville in the fall of 2022. I'm very excited to be at Louisville. I think it's a great program, and I think it suits me best.
It's hard for Brad and I to root for teams from Louisville.
Yeah.
We'll make an exception for Alex playing for the University of Louisville Cardinals. While we've got you here, your thoughts on what you've seen from your teammates so far in the first 29 minutes?
It's definitely good to go and grab a goal in the first 30 minutes that we're out here. I think that they're controlling the game really well. They're keeping the ball in the front half, exactly what Coach Mark Lowry stresses. The pressing has been very good. They forced Atlanta, a team that want to play, into a lot of mistakes. I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. It's working at the moment. I like how they're building out of the back, and I think they should just keep continuing what they're going to do. It's working really well for them.
Alex, buddy, we'll let you go enjoy the rest of the game. Congratulations on that championship, and thanks for taking some time with us tonight.
Thank you guys very much for having me. Have a good day.
Alex Vitanoff, again, native of Crown Point, and head to play collegiately at the University of Louisville next year. So when I say next year, that's like end of this season. So we'll see Alex still training with the Indy 11, and you never know if an injury happens to either. Well, we'll finish at that moment as Pino. Well, they probably wanted me to keep talking, given the way that he shot that one. So with that, we have seen at times kind of the third keeper be the academy young man who hasn't really appeared in a match for the Indy 11, but has been the backup, has trained with the 18, has made road trips. Alex may still get some of that experience if something were to happen to an Elliot Panico or to a Tim Trilk. So he has had this great experience of training with the big club, if you will, still playing against players that are his age, and now you won't find a higher level of college soccer than playing in the ACC.
No, that's a great pickup. But you look at the confidence in the conversation, looking in the eye, and that comes a lot from having success at this level, not just with the academy team and the cups that they've won, but actually in the training ground, is actually being, understanding that you can play at this level day in and day out through your training.
So Atlanta has grown into this match. More dangerous opportunities have picked up for them over the course of the last 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, and you look too, there was a repossession right there for Pino. The pressure caused it, and they didn't convert. And those are the ones that you're spending the energy to earn that opportunity. You've got to be more dangerous with those moments.
Does that go back to the box execution?
That's exactly where it goes back to.
My friend is the author of a pair of books, so I will let him create some words and see if that gets added into the English dictionary at any point in time in the near future.
Boxecution, I think I might use that might be a keeper.
Washington is it forward. Opportunity here for Mejia. Mejia trying to figure out exactly how to set this one up at the edge of the 18.
I'll tell you, brilliance from Mejia in the very beginning. There are a couple of touches at the top of the 18 to draw all of the Indy 11 players in, and then pops it out wide.
Well done by Rebillon. He and Meshach Jerome, the two players that make the move from El Paso to Indianapolis, along with Mark Lowry. Talked about Brian's story last week that, well, he has played against the Indy 11 in his days in Jacksonville. Ryan was ecstatic to follow his coach from El Paso to Indianapolis, not because he knows Mark's system and fits it well, but because his wife hails from Fishers. Brian also told me he is a major gearhead and cannot wait for the Indy 500 just a few weeks from now.
All right, I got 3 trivia questions for you today. 2 kind of layups, and then one that I think I'm going to stump the rake on this one.
I will take a layup, please. We'll do the stumping later in the broadcast.
Okay, so that's where I'm thinking about renaming this, because I think it's Stump the Rake is kind of the natural name for these trivia segments, but I think I'm going to call it...
I was a part of a trivia segment for years on radio called Take the Rake, so feel free to potentially use that if you'd like to.
I cannot pay the licensing fees on that. I think I'm going to call this Step on a Rake, because very often you turn my trivia questions against me with some facts. So I ask these questions, and it feels like I step on a rake. So here's the first one. There is an Atlanta corporation that makes soda, whose bottles were invented, designed in Terre Haute, Indiana, and the limestone from Western Indiana made their bottles.
Should I have a sip of my Coca-Cola right now while we're having the conversation?
Layup number 1. Rake straw is 1 for 1.
33rd minute. Throw in coming here for the Indy 11 near the opposite corner flag. Good look at Mikey Ambrose on your screen. The first corner of the match did Mikey. He is new to Atlanta United too, as in this year, but has played for this club before, so we did not see him a year ago. Player down for the Indy 11. Foul given to Rebillon. Let's thank our friends at IMCU. And of course, Indiana Members Credit Union. You can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online at imcu.com. First 15-20 minutes belong to the Indy 11. It has leveled out since that time.
Good build.
Ball with some space to Aguilera. His goal scorer, Nicky Law. Mertz gets in the way. The Indy 11 opportunity for now. That was off the boot of Aguilera. It was Raul that scored a goal here some 2 weeks ago. And come from behind fashion in the 1-1 draw. It's LA Galaxy 2. Indy 11 seeing a lot of the 2 teams early in this season. Open with Loudoun United. Facing LA Galaxy 2 on April the 2nd. Red Bulls 2 will be here on May 21st. This is part of a streak of 5 of 6 matches at home for the Indy 11. They literally will go on the road once between now and June 4th. There it gets dug in. Conway.
Wow.
Centeno.
Great ball.
Lays it across. Rebion does enough. Gets in the way. Mejia was the player closest to it for Atlanta United 2. And a throw in coming for the Indy 11 here in minute number 36.
I was talking to Coach Collison today. I was talking about Robbie Mertz. I was, if he was the stock, I'd be all in. I'd be buying Robbie Mertz stock like crazy. And when your head coach talks about you this way, he says, hey, he is a fantastic player, but he's a wonderful person. That is awesome. That's what you want to see from the player that is the heart and soul of the midfield.
These two teams didn't have few veterans on them, and I'm not sure Mertz qualifies as a veteran. He's only 4 years removed from playing college soccer. In his mid-20s, but certainly he and Ambrose are the two most experienced pieces at this level you see on the field for Atlanta United too. Rebion got a lot of ball, but got enough for the man to generate the whistle. As Firmino is the injured player. Tonight's match presented in part by our friends, the Central Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Here's Conway. Well done by Aguilera to assist.
Go, 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 go! Go on!
Well done by Powder.
Great job breaking the press.
Berg chips it forward, and
Keep going!
had just stopped his run for a moment. Fjellberg thought he was going to keep going. Ambrose able to track it down the far sideline for Atlanta United 2. Atlanta United 2 team that has not qualified for the postseason in their 4 previous years in the USL Championship. Last year was about as close to the playoff conversation as they have been. Both they and Indy 11 kind of faded down the stretch last year. They finished 6th and 7th respectively. The Indy 11 finishing 1 point better than Atlanta United 2 at the end of the day. Playing back to Garces. Not a Lamb. 17 years of age. 10 matches at this level a season ago, including a start against Indy towards the end of last year. While the score remains the same, Brad, what are you seeing from Atlanta that has kind of leveled the feel of this match in the last, say, 15 minutes?
Their comfort and ability to possess and move that ball across the back line has had Indy 11's front press work against itself from a little bit. And then they start popping McFadden up, and they're looking to play him in. So they're moving it around, see if they can shift Indy 11. And then when they do have that gap in that channel, that's when they're looking to strike.
Elliot Panico on your screen. In second year playing in the USL Championship. Last year played at the Austin Bold. Stefano Pino were teammates last season. Danger just yet here for the Indy 11. Timmer working in some dangerous real estate. Great run going by Timmer. Wins the foot race to get there. Saying the turnover there as compared to, it wasn't a turnover, it's going to be an 11 throw-in compared to where it was at the corner flag just about a minute earlier. This match presented by Community Health and Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. Jerome Jerome. 'Cause, 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 'cause in his 13th year of playing professionally here in the States. Mishak from his days in Jacksonville with the Armada in the NASL. Mishak, the all-time leader in appearances. The Jacksonville Armada, last 3 seasons playing for Mark Lowry in El Paso. First player of Haitian nationality or descent to play for the Indy 11. Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
I know, I wanted you to hear it. I don't like talking behind people.
Jerome couldn't clear it, but Firmino couldn't latch on to it. For Mark Lowry, how you feeling about the team's effort here in the opening 45 minutes?
You like the early part a lot more than you're liking this last 10 minutes. There have been some opportunities coming on, and AU2 has held the ball a little bit, but your opportunities have come off of press up top with some repossessions and then direct balls over the high AU2 back line.
There's a chance. Fjellberg, Nicky Law trying to find Pino. Pino got ahead to it, but get it on frame. It is deemed to be touched last by a member of Atlanta United 2. So another corner coming for the Indy 11 here in minute number 42. There are reinforcements available off the bench tonight for the Indy 11. Namely, Ioze and Arteaga made their season debuts last week on the road at RGV. Whereas Washington deemed to have touched that ball last for Atlanta United 2. Had fans supporting both types of Indianapolis football. I like it. It'll be Powder that sends it in. Left foot. Pino couldn't get much on it. Eventually cleared to safety. Aguilera got turned by Firmino, and Raul Aguilera was boxing out like he was from Greencastle on that play.
just enough of a tug to take him down.
Restart coming here. Today's game brought to us in part by He Gets Us. By radical ideas like loving your enemies, your neighbors, and yourself unconditionally. Find out more at getsus.com. Ball sent in. Good ball. Cochran the target. Kicking it all the way through. Jared Timmer on the full sprint to track it down.
Tough turnover.
Not the ball you wanted there.
That could be trouble. It's a 5-on-3 if they can take advantage of it.
And the answer is they could not, as an Atlanta United 2. Well done by Rebillon. Rebillon, in fact, because of the set pieces on the opposite side of the field, he would normally be on. Recovery by the veteran. Feldberg went down. That was given as a foul. I'm not sure if that just wasn't a bad step by Jonas. Couldn't tell. It's right in front of us. Couldn't tell if that was a boot that clipped him or not. Mertz offering a hand right now, but Feldberg's going to need a minute. Jonas did not make the trip to RGV due to a slight hamstring tweak. See, that wasn't something long term.
You can see that tape going up the back of his left hamstring, so I don't know if that's preventative or just a little bit of reinforcement.
Law was trying to find a seam of space. Idea by Timmer. I think there is going to be an inordinate amount of stoppage time here at the end of half number 1. Mishak Jerome wisely allows that ball to trickle across the byline for a Elliot Panigo goal kick. Mention the fact that Elliott second in the league in saves. Trails only Anthony Marcucci of Red Bulls 2 going into tonight's contest. And I would say that with the couple of efforts that Elliott has made so far, he's at least tied for the top spot in the league in saves after 6 games. Well done, Pino. Can he get to it? No, but right idea. And we saw this a week ago down in South Texas. Pino at the age of 31 is still a magician in terms of timing his run.
Oh, he reads it so well.
Knowing when to go flat and when to go north and south. Look at the fourth official. Whether it's a minute or two. The answer is the latter. 2 minutes of added time before we get to halftime. Coming up at halftime, of course, we'll take you around the league the way we always do, but we'll also talk about a gentleman that Brad and I are tremendously excited to call him a member of the Indy 11. We have heard of the legend of Solomon Asante from his days with Phoenix Rising. That signing was announced on Monday, so it'll be a few weeks before we see Solomon here in Indianapolis, but that is a difference-making signing made by the Indy 11 front office some 5 days ago. Talk more about him coming up in the next segment of our program. Aguilera got swept under. Advantage is being played. Now we'll go back to without a clear possession for the Indy 11.
I'll tell you, when I saw the Asante news on social media, I had to do a double take. It's like, seriously? Seriously? That is incredible.
I'll also point out to you that the eye-popping numbers that we will show you in a few minutes, that was done in basically 3.5 seasons. Timmer. And that will be a corner. Mejia would like to have that one back, and you can throw a few more numbers forward here in the dying seconds and see if you can nick a second goal before halftime if you're Indy.
That's a killer. That's one of those ones that, you're just holding your breath on right now because it's just a mis-execution that leads to a chance to really change the tenor of this game.
Ball sent in. Couple of misses. Aguilera lines it up. Just couldn't keep it on frame.
What a strike. Bending just a little bit to the outside. Going for that upper corner.
Pino was the target and went all the way through.
At that strike.
While we show you that replay, the referee has deemed we have done sufficiently enough to conclude half number one. Nice hands by the gentleman there at the east end of the stadium on that missed opportunity by Aguilera. Rule had a second half goal last time for the Indy 11. He'll look for at least one more in half number two. But for the first time in just 2 tries this year, the Indy 11 take a goal lead to halftime here at Carroll Stadium.
You continue to build. This is, you're coming off 3 games where you've drawn a point, 3 games with undefeated streak, so you've got that momentum coming home.
A foul just outside the box set up a free kick by Nicky Law from some 19 yards out, and the veteran most certainly cashed in. Atlanta United's chances have been building as the half has gone along. They still trail it in Indy 11 by a score of 1-0. Halftime comes your way next on My Indy TV. Back in downtown Indianapolis again, wind is a bit of a factor. We would normally think this was cold for April 16th. Given the spring we've had so far, this is a glorious weather day that we are having here in Indy. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hutter with you on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. And as we mentioned, Solomon Asante is the newest member of the Boys and Blue. The numbers that we will talk to you about that Solomon did for the course of 4 years, absolutely phenomenal. 54 goals, 42 assists in all competitions for Phoenix Rising. Again, Indy and Phoenix never played during that 4-year run, but we would just see these ridiculous scores that Phoenix would put up and the win streaks. They would go months at a time without losing a match. Solomon, a big part of that. He was a free agent, did not sign with a team to begin this season. The Indy 11 move in and, simply put, bring one of the best players ever at this level of American soccer. He'll join the Indy 11 in the next few weeks.
A huge piece of the success of Phoenix. And you take a look at those numbers. You talk about 54 goals over the course of 4 seasons, and you look at Dane Kelly being the all-time leader in the career that he's put together. If he played his career here in this level, he's in 100 as well in 8 years.
And again, it's 4 years, but remember that 2020 season of which Solomon was the MVP, that season was 16 games long. So that's why I say in 3.5 years' time, he is north of 40 goals and 40 assists. And as the last line on that graphic tells you, he is one of one to do that in the history of the USL Championship. He'll be wearing number 14 for the Indy 11 sooner rather than later.
That last line, that last stat, the only player to have 40 goals and 40 assists, is so important because as an opposing coach, you cannot load up, you cannot shift players to take away his opportunities because he'll find the guy that you shift that second defender from.
Welcome, Solomon Asante. Can't wait to see him on the field in an Indy 11 uniform. Our look around the USL Championship when we come back at halftime here on the campus of IUPUI. Indy 11 lead 1-0. Back after this on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus.
11 taking the lead.
Great finish. Cue the smoke.
It's a goal for Orange County SC and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The Old with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
Indy 11 a goal to the good here at halftime on a picturesque night just west of downtown Indianapolis. The Indy 11 had a couple of bench players on the team of the week after last week's 2-1 victory against RGV, but to settle for a couple of very familiar names and faces that made the team of the week. So happy for Jordan Farr that things are working out for him in San Antonio. And of course, one of the all-time leaders in terms of matches played for the Indy 11, and a player that Mark Lowry knows very well, Dylan Maris, getting it done for El Paso Locomotive.
And look at Openo popping back up in there, the nemesis when he was with Lou City.
And he scored their only goal last night in their 1-0 victory against Birmingham Legion. That right now was one of the best player acquisitions of the offseason, bringing a veteran to this level to one of the brand new teams in the league in Detroit City FC, off to a very good start so far this season. Elsewhere around the USL Championship, from a scores perspective, it is a very busy night with the Easter holiday tomorrow. There are 11 matches around the championship tonight. That's a bit of a surprise. Las Vegas Lights with a 1-0 lead against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Been a bit of a sluggish start for Tampa Bay so far this year. They're a goal to the good against FC Tulsa. And the Miami FC leading Hartford Athletic 1-0. We will see Hartford Athletic here in a couple of weeks on Saturday, April 30th. Now, let's go to the news and notes section of things. The USL had 15 teams from the championship that advanced on to the third round of U.S. Open Cup play. We referenced Bob Lilly being the all-time leader in terms of USL Championship victories. And speaking of players we know, former Indy 11 man Cam Lindley has been a part of 5 straight wins to start the season for the Colorado Switchbacks, and they play tonight at 8:30. They'll become the third team in league history and first in 10 years to start the season with 6 straight wins.
We might be able to catch the tail end of that if we hurry home.
They got to keep us here for the end of the postgame show.
We can make that. That's an hour and a half after this thing.
We'll worry about that when we get there. Right now, our score here in Indianapolis, 1-0 in favor of the Indy 11. Stay tuned. Second half, and head coach Mark Lowry set to join us in a matter of moments as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV and ESPN+. Great hit. That's all we need to see. Copy that. Quick check of the highlights from half number one. We'll check in with head coach Mark Lowry coming up in about 60 seconds or so. Pressure by the Indy 11 leads to an opportunity. Pino fouled just outside of the 18. It was a committee meeting as to who would take it. The right guy was selected as Nicky Law bangs it home.
I'll tell you what, he stood over that ball and did not blink. He knew where he was going the whole time.
And whatever Meshack Jerome told him clearly worked as Nicky gets his first goal of the season.
Put it in the goal, Nicky. Put it in the goal.
Well, if that was the instructions, job well done. A quick check of the stats here at the end of half number one. Again, possession early in favor of the Indy 11, but look how much that balanced as the half went along. 62-38 in favor of Atlanta United 2.
Well, it wasn't just the playing style and AU2 grabbing a little possession on their back line. You take a look at the way that Indy was playing. Pressing up top for repossessions doesn't lead to long moments with the ball because you're going right to goal, and direct balls over the top, over the high back line of AU2. Those aren't multiple possession opportunities.
What, if anything, do you expect to see different from the Indy 11 in half number two?
I like the way this game is playing out. I think you're doing well pressing that back line.
By the way, we're going to see an Indy 11 sub to start the half. It's going to be Justin Ingram. He will enter. We'll tell you who he's replacing coming up in a matter of moments. Mark Lowry is now standing by. Coach, overall, your thoughts in the opening 45 minutes?
Yeah, not good enough. I'm not happy with the group at all, to be honest. We've got to take better responsibility on the ball, be more mature with the ball. If it needs to go over the top, which we've had success, it needs to go over the top. Decision making on the ball is not good enough.
All right, so Justin Ingram goes out there. What do you want to see from him? What does he add to the mix immediately off the jump?
I mean, it's forced on us. Sam Brown, a little concussion, went up for that header, and he's not feeling too good. So it's a forced substitution, but Justin's got bags of energy, he's got bags of fight, so we hope to see that.
Thank you, Coach. Talk to you after the game. Mark Lowry joining us, and again, even with a one-goal lead, I don't have to, you can understand English, you can tell he's not happy from half number one.
I love it. You're up a goal, and you go into the locker room, you're feeling kind of good, and sometimes the coach turns the screws on it, and it just wakes you up as far as your focus. It stops you from coming out a little bit soft sometimes.
Well, the Indy 11, as we talked about, they have played to some degree a bit shy of numbers this year. Not seen as much Nebil Hackshaw. You've barely seen guys like Ayoze and Manuel Arteaga. But tonight's the first night you kind of feel they've got everybody in the arsenal available for them. Again, Solomon Asante will join a few weeks from now, but of the players that began the year with the team, only Nebil Hackshaw really that catches your attention about not being in the 18 this evening. So whether it's Justin Ingram, whether it's Ayoze, Arteaga, etc., there are weapons available for Mark Lowry tonight, and Ingram, I wouldn't say he's been a pleasant surprise. He has been a great find for this team. The graduate of Pike High School, a potential local star for the Indy 11.
Great pace and just tireless.
Justin replacing Sam Brown, and you can tell that in that collision that Sam dealt with midway through the first half, he soldiered on, but after further evaluation, Indy said, time to err on the side of caution in all of our substitutions. Brought to us by Jiffy Lube of Indiana. No changes in the 11. Jack Collison and Atlanta United 2. Timmer applying pressure to Centeno. Second season with the Indy 11 and wins that duel. Anything you notice, again, Jared was solid last year. It's the reason he's back for a second year. Anything you're seeing in terms of his progression in particular as a third-year pro?
Well, the thing that's so impressive about him is the consistency. You get the same performance week in and week out from him. But I tell you what, he was good on the ball last year, but his playing out of the back and finding the target's feet has been just excellent this year.
Man, that was a 3-year captain at Butler University. As a pro, spent 2020 playing for Reno and helped that club to the Western Conference Championship in their last year of existence. consecutive games, at least a point taken. Making back-to-back games with the full 3. Indy entered this match 2 points back of the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. And again, after that, there are only 28 more matches left to go in this Indy 11 season in terms of playoff considerations and things of that nature. Right idea on the turn by Aguilera, just could not complete it. It's from Mino. Goal kick coming. Nothing comes of the opportunity for Atlanta United 2. Bit of a conversation going to take place between our match referee and Meshach Jerome. Mark Lowry over as the head coach of the Jacksonville Armada at the end of 2016. Just missed a playoff spot with them in 2017 in their last year in the NASL. Coached the Armada in the NPSL in 2018. Was coach from day one in El Paso and built them into consistently one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Any idea what that conversation between referee and goalkeeper was about?
I was trying to figure it out. You know, I think it's too early to have a conversation about delay a game or anything that could have gone on there. I didn't see anything.
Mino couldn't get to it in time. Well defended. That's a great recovery. That was Washington that made that play for Atlanta United 2.
Terrific ball tucked in behind by Nicky Law.
Exactly what you expect from Nicky, is it not?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So watch it on your screen. It's his second match of the season. We saw him a lot last year. A young man that this time last year was leading his pit team to the national semifinals before then joining Atlanta United 2. All the way through. Ball headed down. Not out of danger just yet. Have a lot of guys in the box from a traffic perspective that time. Timmer now will hit the reset button on the other side of the midfield stride.
I love that thought by Cochran on that. The ball's overhit. You know, he's kind of backpedaling a little bit to get it. And too often players just try and put that ball on frame. Instead, he heads it back across the box just to see if he can catch Atlanta shifting incorrectly and maybe find a player on the opposite side.
Coming, last touch by Noah Powder. We have to go back to 2019, the last time the Indy 11 had a victory against Atlanta United 2. This portion of this match was entered by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. 4 matches last year, 2 draws, 2 losses from the Indy 11 perspective. Two sides all time. The win at home in 2018 and 2019. Opportunity here on the overlap. Ball played across, goes all the way through. And stay in the field of play the entire time. Assistant referee's flagging everyone up for crossing the end line. Here's Lamb. Up to the challenge. Panico didn't take the chance. It'll be a corner. Swats it over the crossbar. Let's remind your fans that Indy 11 Premium Suites, the perfect way to entertain your guests. Learn more at Indy11.com or call 317-685-1100. Panico, knowing that his back was turned and kind of out of position, took the safe option.
Good serve.
Goes all the way through.
Get ball back across the 6. You got Indy shifting all the way to the back post.
The wind may have picked that one up a little bit.
That changed the Galaxy 2 game a little bit as well.
Jerome. Indy going into that wind.
Affected that ball.
Again, in April, it's not that big of a surprise. It was very gusty last week down at RGV in that game. And that is a big park they play in down there. That rivals Wake Med Field down at Cary in terms of the width factor. A lot of ground to cover a week ago. Certainly helped Stefano Pino find the room to score a couple of goals. Firmino dispossessed. Speaking of Pino, he's the target here. Aguilera with the miss.
Too easy to come out of the back.
There's Conway. Jerome with him step for step.
Unbelievable. Right back McFadden finds himself into the 6 on this play. He is constantly stressing that back line from his spot on the outside right back.
What is your guess in terms of the number of miles that McFadden turns in on a regular basis?
It's unbelievable because we see this from him every game. This isn't something that he's seen tonight. He stresses back lines because he comes out of nowhere for him. He's in the 6 on the buildup in that play.
Corner coming from Mikey Ambrose. He does have an assist on the season. Short corner played, ball sent in. That's off Aguilera. We'll try it again from the Atlanta United perspective. For AU2 coming up in the 54th minute. Ambrose has played 35 MLS matches over the course of the last 6 years. They'll play short. Atlanta United 2. Mahia sends it in. Panico with the punch.
What a great read. What a great read.
Player down for Atlanta United 2. Right idea on the distribution, but now that Atlanta United 2 has the ball, they have to go back and take care of the injured player that is down. And that is Nelson Orji that is the player.
It's such a great ball served in, and it's so dangerous because any AU2 player just needs to get a little nick on it to change its direction to put it past Panico. He comes out and eliminates the opportunity.
Second time the trainer has been brought out to take care of the debutant from a starter scenario for Atlanta United 2. He will turn 20 next month.
You love seeing this in your goalkeeper. I mean, and I know if you're injured, you got to stay down. But whenever there's contact and that goalkeeper pops up right away, like nothing happened.
Now let's talk about this from an Atlanta United 2 perspective. They only have 4 field players available as reserves tonight. They dressed 17. 3 of those were goalkeepers. They brought 2 backup goalkeepers. So they need to make a like-for-like substitution. Grant Howard is the only player listed as a defender on the subs for head coach Jack Collison. Cristiano Bruletti, Manike Nwogu, and Efrain Morales. The potential field players available if needed at some point.
And there's also, I mean, when you're putting that travel roster together, you're looking at some flex players too. So you might have a midfielder that you're comfortable dropping back into one of those spots, or maybe shifting an outside back in and dropping a wing mid back into that spot.
Let's thank our friends at Bet Rivers. They are the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11. Bet with a winner.
Ready for a layup trivia? Step on a rake?
Absolutely. I'd prefer not to step on a rake, but go ahead.
All right. Okay, here you go. These 2 Atlanta teenagers were drafted in the MLS and eventually found their way to Indy 11.
Andrew Carlton would immediately come to mind.
1.
Now I got to think of the other Atlanta teenager that found his way to the Indy 11. Was Jack McInerney the other?
That is it. Layup number 2. Rake, 2 for 2.
That was more of like a 10-foot pull-up.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Jack McInerney, one of 5 players in Indy 11 history to have a double-digit goal-scoring season, doing so in the first year of the Indy 11, the USL Championship in 2018. Andrew Carlton spent 1 year with the Indy 11, playing for the team in 2020. And Brad, you know our nonsensical conversations like this are now sponsored. What? That was the nugget of the game.
Get out of here.
Brought to us by Impact Financial Group, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial. You get advice worth talking about. So I want to point out, conversations not worth talking about on the air are now the subject of sponsors that have advice worth talking about. That is a foul whistle. Robbie Mertz takes the foul and pulls Ingram down. Reference Ingram from Pike High School, did not play high school soccer, played academy soccer. Spent 2 years at the University of Virginia. Played for the Greyhounds of Loyola of Maryland. Was drafted by Inter Miami in this year's MLS Super Draft, but never signed with the team, and joined his hometown team in February. As of last I talked to Justin, he was still living with mom and dad and enjoying some home-cooked meals a first-year pro. Aguilera.
Turn.
Fjellberg. Just couldn't get the steps right.
The way that the wind is impacting play, you'd like to see Indy build a little bit more than looking for the direct ball that was so successful in the first half.
By the way, Orji back out there for Atlanta United. They're playing at full strength. Aguilera couldn't have the settling touch he had hoped for. And Aguilera probably committed a foul. Wasn't they are going to give the assistant referee put the flag. It was kind of a delayed reaction from our referee tonight, but that's the right call. Sometimes Mark Lowry has challenged his team to be more physical. Not a problem for Aguilera this year. We hope that Ambrose is okay. Mertz to Conway. Tackle by Cochran, but not in danger. Mertz slides it forward. Mishak Jerome.
And he had Ambrose out here on the left. You like the aggressive thought of trying to slip him through in the middle, but you had a nice opportunity building on the left side.
First, it was the potential goal-scoring opportunity save made by Mishak Jerome. Then the real estate ball that buys about 40 yards of space to get things reorganized for Indy along the back. Mark Lowry routinely calls Mishak Jerome one of the best center backs in American football, playing professionally at any level in this country. Jerome to the challenge there. Aguilera with a takeaway from Mejia. Feldberg knocks it past Washington. Charges coming forward. Fjellberg gives it a go.
Great run, off-ball run by Powder just to occupy some space and a couple of defenders.
Fjellberg with 3 goals in 8 games played at RGV last year. University of Dayton, first Norwegian to play for the Indy 11, and maybe was a sliding tackle away from his first Indy 11 goal, and it does set up a corner kick here in minute number 60.
Great touch across the top of the box to give himself a window.
This is Powder. Will send the service in from the far sideline. Aguilera. Should miss a couple of blasts from this distance. Ingram. Jerome sends it in, and missed opportunity for the Indy 11, but nobody at this point to create a spot of bother. Fjellberg, can he latch onto it? Yes. Flag remains down. You end action here.
What a ball by Panico.
A chance to get organized for the Indy 11. Sports This Match is brought to us by Keystone Construction. It's more than construction. We build a vision. Right vision that time for the Indy 11. Ball sent to a spot with one occupying it for the Indy 11. And throw in coming here for Atlanta United 2. And we're going to start to look towards the sidelines. We'll lay you too about some potential substitutions trying to change the tenor of this matchup for the visitors from North Georgia.
The game has tilted a bit, and when it tilted in the first half, AU2 was able to flatten it out a little bit by possessing it a little bit longer across the back line, making Indy defend for longer stretches. See if they go to that again here in the second half.
Oh, what flick forward here. Firmino was the target, but Panico never had to lay a finger on it.
What a thought.
They're going for that first clean sheet as a member of the Indy 11. In the Western Conference a season ago, where teams scored goals aplenty. His goals against average per game was less than 1. 6 have been allowed by the Indy 11 over the course of the first 5 matches. 2 against Tampa Bay and 1 against everybody else they have faced. Rebillon. with the touch. Mejia with the takeaway. By the way, it is Grant Howard who will be coming on. It's the first substitution for Atlanta United 2. Firmino on the left wing. Italian in full song, as they usually are. Blast hanging with the BYB last week, watching the match from South Texas. Conway! Ball skipped over the boot of Jared Timber. Conway couldn't get everything he wanted to on it. Eric Centeno will be the player that is brought off in favor of Grant Howard.
I tell you, it was well defended by Noah Powder. Got enough of it just to make sure that it was a difficult ball across, and Cochran was almost able to clear it and deny Conway the touch.
All of our substitutions, either for the Indy 11 or for Atlanta United 2, are brought to us by Jiffy Lube of Indiana. Here comes Grant Howard at 19 years of age, a man that's on an academy deal, but has now played in 6 of 7 matches this season for Atlanta United 2. As a sub in 4 of those 6 matches. Pino the target. Off ball. Garces did about as much as he could with it. He didn't give it back to Pino for a goal. That's good enough from Atlanta United 2's perspective. Stefano with 3 goals scored for the Indy 11. He still has 6 to make up for the 9 he scored against the Indy 11 from 2015 to 2017.
He'll get him. He'll get him.
Including a hat trick against the Indy 11 for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers back in 2015 for the 31-year-old from Brazil. Good ball there for Indy. Aguilera plays it forward to Rebion. Rebion asks for contact and not going to get it. Not enough there.
Tell you what, with the substitution of Howard, AU2 has pushed McFadden up higher, giving him less responsibility defensively, and that's going to cause some problems just with his pace and his creative nature up top.
Thank our friends at the Denny Companies. Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. It's been sitting on this lead for about the last 50-plus minutes. Fourth official. Getting a quick word from Rebion.
He's been busy. He's been getting it from both sides.
Of course, this match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. Rebion vents a little frustration, not vocally, but physically, directed at Mikey Ambrose. Here's Lamb. Firmino. And Ambrose couldn't walk the tightrope. An unnecessary turnover for the visitors.
Been a couple of those.
What have you seen from Ingram that you have liked so much in the opening stages of the season?
His pace and his energy just creates problems for teams. I like players that create problems for other teams.
One coming for Indy. Indy will be at home next Sunday against Orange County, the defending USL Cup champions. Couldn't settle that ball inside of the 18. First meeting between Indy and Orange County. Cochran will play that ball to the side for safety. He will play 8 matches against Western Conference competition this year, as will all the teams in the East. To put it in perspective, Indy will see every team in the league except for 5. It's a far cry from the years of, well, 2 years ago in the pandemic, basically seeing 4 teams for the majority of the year.
Oh,
opportunity here. Howard's first touch finds Conway, and we're tied at 1. Conway gets his 4th of the season, and sublime service from the 19-year-old that just entered the match, tied at a goal apiece in the 68th minute.
A great ball played in, down the line, into the space in the back, just to give him an opportunity and a good look across, and a bouncing ball. That's a tough ball to finish. Look at that ball right there. That's the goal. That's the one that creates the goal. Look at that bouncing ball, one touch. Great finish.
Conway getting his 5th start of the season. He's on an MLS contract, but he has spent parts of each of the last 5 years playing for Atlanta United 2. And has come up through the system. And Ingram, that's going to be a foul. Assistant referee says, yep, there was a tug there that helped get that position for Atlanta United 2. So, his lead of 55 minutes is wiped away. It has to change from the Indy 11 perspective.
The tough part is the wind. You know, some of the stuff that was successful in the first half was that ball played over the AU2 high back line, and that's not, you can't be as accurate with the way that the wind is factoring in.
Le'Veon will sweep that to the side for an Atlanta United 2 throw-in.
And then the question is, you've got a lot of success off of pressing higher up the field and getting repossessions and turning those into goal-scoring opportunities. Do you have the energy here with 68 minutes on your legs to continue that and give it a little bit more of a run to see if you can create an opportunity off of it?
This is a match that felt like 3 for a long part of it for the Indy 11. And now it's at 1, and that is uncertain. Mejia. It's Howard. Now Mertz the target. Mertz runs out of time to track that down.
Tell you what, they're finding that channel. They're engaging Timmer with the run, and then as he comes up to that run, they're tucking that ball into that space that he vacates, and they're finding a guy on the other end of it.
Fans, you can take the boys in blue with you wherever you go. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store, or get it on Google Play. Ambrose does a good job to keep that ball in play.
Oh, what a clever ball.
Now Firmino. Mertz settles in the midfield. Washington sizing up his options. McFadden. Read by Aguilera. Here's a chance for Indy.
4-on-3.
Options both right and left.
Oh.
Aguilera had just cut inside. Slides it across. Fjellberg couldn't get to it. Powder gives it a hit. Howard got in the way and did so not once but twice.
What an opportunity. Well defended by AU2 to pull that out.
Queuing up again. Conway the target. Cochran steps in the way. Mertz. McFadden. Seen him hit from that distance before in this building. Other end of the park a year ago. Mertz the flick. Jerome the skyward boot. Pino. It's the back end of a boot from Nelson Orji, and Orji's got to be, he's already sitting on a yellow. He's going to get talking to, no more than that. That's what's going on as you're watching this replay, and an opportunity that goes for naught for the Indy 11.
Yeah, you love the way that looked as it was shaping up. You got Nicky Lobb, unbelievably creative, great vision, and he's got a player on either side.
Rebion will settle as we return to live action.
Oh, what a touch.
The 11 have perhaps a trio of substitutions that are all getting their kits together. Looks like McQueen. I believe Ioze is part of that group. Potentially one more. Aguilera looking for Pino. This takes Pino wider than maybe he had hoped to do so. Rebillon joins the attack. Fjellberg left foot!
My goodness.
Spilled by the keeper. It should be a corner. It will be. So that first Indy 11 tally.
He created a great opportunity there, forced the keeper into a save. The ball spills across the 6. You got 2 runners back post. You're hoping one can get a piece of it.
Nearly in the path of Nicky Law for a tap in. Just enough, by the way. Manuel Arteaga also will be entering in the very near future. Law sends it in. Back post. Cochran couldn't make the contact he wanted to. Done by Indy. They have picked up the pace since this game got to 1-1. Law sizing things up, headed. Exactly a lot on it. Indy asking for a handball. Will not get it. It will be an Indy 11 throw in from just outside of the 18. The restart, a quick one. Powder. Not much to that one. Arteaga, McQueen, and Ioze. There's some talent in that trio that are making their way to the 4th official. Efrain Morales will enter when given the opportunity as well for Atlanta United 2. All of a sudden, the 4th official has turned into Grand Central Station. With 15-ish minutes plus stoppage time left to go in this match. Sonorji will see his evening come to an end, as Morales will come in to replace him. Congrats to that young man on his first start at the USL Championship level. That's a smile and a pat in the back from
great to see.
Coach Collison. Here's Ambrose.
Oh, what a three-dimensional thought.
Bird to the left foot. Panico had it covered. There's the one hopper. Fjellberg, a flick forward, and it stays in the field of play.
Good things have happened when you've involved Nicky Law with touches at the top of the attacking third.
Like right there?
Like right there.
To Brian Rebillon. Rebillon goes into the box. Is anything in it? Corner kick given. Nothing more than that. A.J. Cochran asking for help. One of the assistant referees. Contact there for just a corner. Some of the folks at the Brickyard Battalion have no problem sharing their opinion on the subject.
That's a great ball by Nicky Law to free him into that space.
Aguilera not happy with the conversation there to play Rebillon. You saw him on your screen say, hey, I'm gonna need somebody. And so I would assume that Alex McQueen's, whoever he was substituting in for, has now become Brian Rebillon. Rebillon looked at the bench and said, get somebody in for me. So here's the replay.
Look at that ball.
It's Mejia that made contact. And contact in the 18. And the reason you're hearing the crowd reaction is that the replays that you are seeing at home, the crowd is seeing here too.
Tell you what, the longer Rebillon stays down, the more of an earful the center official is going to get.
Iose. Waiting to enter. Kjellberg's night is done. Rebillon's night is done, and Noah Powder exiting as well. Now for Rebillon, I hope this is not a long-term injury. Training staff out quickly to check on Brian, but that is not a good sign. So put a little more weight on it. He has one more substitution available. It is McQueen, whose first touch of the match will be on a corner kick, and our substitutions all brought to you by Jiffy Lube. The all-time leader in assists for the Indy 11 franchise with 21. McQueen sends it in. Pino, the back heel. Law couldn't get a boot to it. Here's Ingram. McQueen and Cochran. Cochran gives it a hit, but would like to have that one back.
What a ball by Timmer.
A missed opportunity of their own doing and potentially of the green team's doing. From the Indy 11 perspective. There have been some examples of when building for the back goes wrong earlier today, and perhaps there was almost another one there.
I tell you what, Indy comes in from the sides, and you know, AU2 is playing right through their 6 to break that press.
Queen will knock it forward. Aguilera, good follow-up. Now things settling down from the Indy 11 perspective. Just remind your fans, watch Wish TV, your local news source. Find them online at wishtv.com. And following Indy 11 soccer, off there in the neighborhood of 9:30 with the post-game show. You will see the Wish TV news at 10. Right here on My Indy TV. McQueen has a run going forward. Iose spots him. Good recovery by Mejia. Mejia could not keep it in play. Throw-in coming past the Indy 11 bench. It feels later than it is. This is just the 80th minute. There is still a lot of ground to cover in tonight's matchup. Playing with renewed vigor. Then equalized in the 68th minute. Law goes to ground and nothing there. Cochran to Panico. Panico will simply swipe it sideways. That well-dressed ball boy you see on your screen is the head coach for Atlanta United 2 and Jack Collison.
Love his energy. Love his energy.
He'd still be playing if his knees would allow him to. Now a whistle is given. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN Plus. Some of the USL, MLS, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Today at plus.espn.com. Iose forcing the issue and made Howard play it. It'll be a corner kick.
I tell you, that's got to
when a guy in his 37th year was on a dead sprint to make that happen.
I love it as well, but that's a keeper's ball. That thing's hanging up there so long, he's got to come out and collect it off that bounce.
Io, Carl Lamette, second and third players in club history to spend parts of 5 seasons with the boys in blue. Iose sends it in. Pino was the target. Cochran gets a noggin to it. Sizing it up as Ingram. Didn't get the hit he wanted to on it. Timmer steers it in. Washington will play it towards section 112 for safekeeping. First 15 minutes belong to the Indy 11. Last last 10 to 15 minutes that belong to the Indy 11. That one more goal belongs to the Indy 11 this evening. Second half goals last week to get their first complement of all 3 points for the campaign. Ambrose with acres of space on the near side of the pitch. Good for Conway. Cooked that pass just a little bit. Aguilera.
Oh, what a turn.
Well done. I'm sure he hit that ball the way he wanted to, but found McQueen nonetheless. McQueen scampering forward.
Take a touch.
McQueen, who represents Grenada in terms of international football, is from England. Grew up playing in the Tottenham Hotspur Academy. Playing at Barnet, outside of the English Football League when he was signed by the Indy 11 this offseason. Morales, back to Garces and Arteaga lurking. 10 goals a season ago for the Indy 11 and another bit of a giveaway. Again, not a live ball turnover, you will, but a giveaway nonetheless.
Yeah, they keep playing it back to Garces in some tough times when Indy is just waiting and hiding in the weeds for it.
Here's a chance, Conway. He's got Jerome in front of him. Timmer hightailing it back as well. The ever-present McFadden now on the ball for Atlanta United 2. Howard. This one goes all the way through and nothing to it.
That was a great job by Conway in understanding who he is. He gets into the 1v1. It's just him and acres of space, but he knows that what his job is. He's a target. He's a finisher in the box. He's not the guy to make that 50-yard run and try and beat a player off of it, so he holds up play, gives AU2 an opportunity.
Hyatt Place at Hyatt House, downtown Indianapolis. Experience comfort in downtown Indy. Home fans trying to experience a win for the first time since last October in terms of happening in front of their own eyes here at Carroll Stadium. Maurice Briggs is being waved towards the team bench. Another potential target for the Indy 11. He'll be the 5th and final substitution.
Good find.
Ingram plays it across Arteaga! The defender knocked it down first. Allowed Garces just to kind of paw it away.
It's exactly what you want and who you want to hit it.
Ingram again. That will be a corner. Will not be running in time for this corner. I mention that because he is simply 6 feet 4 inches tall. He's the type of target you want in there. 5 minutes plus stoppage time of this match brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Iose Arteaga, saved by Garces. Arteaga, a difference maker. Made his season debut in the dying embers last Saturday. And have off-season knee surgery. The Indy 11 player that appeared in all 32 matches a season ago. The song remains the same for Atlanta. Sideways right now for them is a win.
The pressure from the 11 is making them struggle to get the ball out of the back line.
Jerome with a hit. Took a deflection off of Lamb. That was not the intended direction. Shaq was not trying to blast one from Sergio Pena distance there. Well done by Nicky Law. Possess Firmino. Iose. McQueen looking back post. Arteaga tries to settle. Blasted across! Just off the side of the post. Pena wondering how that one stayed out. Transition look here for Atlanta United 2. Mertz the sliding effort to keep it in play. Eventually, you throw in for A.J. Cochran. Now, Stefano Pino's night is done. He will amble off the field. Ari Spriggs to replace him. And we'll take a look at exactly how this one did not cross the goal line. Again, Pino, I'm not sure ever touched it. That was off of Howard.
What a ball across by Arteaga.
Conway couldn't maintain possession. Briggs, first touch in midfield. And give away by Atlanta and Morales.
An overlapping run.
McQueen. There's Arteaga. A beautiful turn by Manuel. Well done by Washington. Jerome on a full sprint.
Arteaga has been everywhere in the 18.
Jose waiting for a window. Cochran. Arteaga the header up and over the bar.
What's he been in? 10 minutes? He's got 3 shots and a ball just across the 6.
I'm not sure if he's got 90-minute legs yet. He's got 90-minute brain. The soccer IQ is engaged for last year's leading goal scorer.
And I tell you what, credit to his teammates. You know, when you know someone's just finding it, they're in the right spots. Keep feeding him the ball.
He has changed numbers from last season. He has not changed the way he plays from last season. Mertz gives chase. Panico. 70-yard blast. Jose nearly doubled the age of Howard on that pressure. Here's Briggs.
What a ball.
Briggs awaits for some teammates to help. Ingram. Can Jose get there? Yes, he can. Can Law put it in?
Oh my goodness!
Off the post. Both posts hit by the Indy 11 in the span of 4 minutes. And now, the offside flag goes up against Atlanta United 2. Quick restart as we show you a replay. Indy 11 on the attack. The ball inadvertently knocked back towards the keeper by Howard. Now we glance at the 4th official. We think 3 minutes, maybe 4 left in this match. Five minutes is what we are being told is left in this one. Ingram takes a tumble. Official says play on. Now officially in extra time. Firmino sizing up his options.
Yeah, I think AU2 wants to just possess this ball as much as they can. Take a little bit of heat off their back line.
What a takeaway by Briggs. And then Briggs gets it right back.
Oh,
Briggs has acres of space to work with. Arteaga trying to join the attack around Morales. Briggs goes down outside of the 18. Official does nothing. Now Conway the target. Flag stays down for Conway. Mishak Jerome expertly knocks the ball away.
This game is wide open at the moment.
Briggs couldn't get back to it. He eventually does. Firmino takes a tumble. We play on. That's been the law of the land. Speaking of law, Law slides it. There it is! A go-ahead goal for the Indy 11. Ari Spriggs, a goal scorer for the first time in Checkers. Cue the smoke! And the Indy 11 take a 2-1 lead.
Nicky Law making things happen all game. 91 minutes on his legs, and he comes through in the clutch.
A goal and an assist, a typical night for Nicky Law. There's still 3 minutes left in this one. A little late night magic here in downtown Indianapolis. And the second-year pro, first-year member of the Indy 11, he's sitting on the game winner with 3 minutes left to play.
And I'll tell you what, when Nicky Law broke that first defender down, Ambrose popped out to pick up McQueen and left him alone to take the space. And that opened up the opportunity for him to drive into the 6, draw a defender, draw the goalkeeper to the near post, slot it across, easy tap in for Briggs.
Vicente Reyes is about to enter. Reyes has entered. Vicente is listed as a goalkeeper. He is playing a forward role at 6'4", and that's Vicente with the ball at his feet as we speak. Danger just yet for the Indy 11. Almost a takedown by Aguilera. Dispossessed. McQueen will knock it forward. Briggs gives chase. McFadden tried to grab him, could not do it. Briggs. It's a clean takeaway by McFadden. Then McFadden takes the takeaway. Briggs whistle for the foul. Restart coming. Narcissus will take it quickly. Thank our friends, the Morales Group. Staffing agencies find jobs. The Morales Group, we build futures. Carl Ouimet standing by for the Indy 11. Briggs lines it up, left foot. Garces, what a save.
What a save.
Plays with the shot.
Smart play by Tim. Checked his shoulder. He saw that an AU2 runner was waiting for him to play it back to the keeper so that he could press it. He checks his shoulder, sees it, just plays it up.
Ball sent in. Doesn't hit the target. And again, Arteaga's all by his lonesome. And now Aguilera will join him. Arteaga intends to hang on to it, and Mark Lowry points the corner flag. Arteaga does not see him, but he'll happily maintain possession in the direction. And who better to treat the soccer ball like a yo-yo than Ayoze? Ayoze goes down. That will be a whistle. Let's hope that Ayo is all right. It is a card that is shown to Grant Howard. And Ayo with a wry smile of experience on his face. Captain's armband goes on Ayo when he enters the match.
Anyway, you could see it in Arteaga. He was just holding that ball, waiting to find Ayo's feet. Because once you get it to Ayo's feet, it's going to stay your ball.
Mental checklist. Are you Ayoze? No. Are you? No. Are you? Yes. I will pass the ball to you. Again, not even looking at the goal. Just corner flag. Walk it there, and that's it. That is the end of the match. There was far too little of this a year ago. Late night magic. Stoppage time magic for the Indy 11. Ari Briggs, the native of Memphis, Tennessee. His first Indy 11 goal set up by the magical feet and soccer brain of Nicky Law. Let's also acknowledge the role that Manuel Arteaga played in terms of creating goal-scoring chances late. And from the Indy perspective, after Atlanta United 2 equalized, the last 25 minutes belonged to the home team. And to me, that's what will be the biggest takeaway from Mark Lowry after tonight.
And I'll tell you what, too, there were so many emotional swings in this game, from the penalty kick opportunity missed to hitting a post, hitting the other post, a whole bunch of chances where you could just say, hey, it's not our night. Instead, they kept pressing, working for it to come, and then got that game winner late in the match.
Make it 4 consecutive league matches without a loss for the Indy 11. They're up to 8 points on the season. and the home fans go happy after 90-plus minutes. Indy 11-2, Atlanta United 2-1. Stay tuned. Post-game coverage brought to you by your Central Indiana Hunt dealers in Bet Rivers. It all comes your way next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV and ESPN+. Copy. Yep. Yes, sir. Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV and ESPN+. Presented in part by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care, simply delivered. The Indy 11 fed off the energy of the Brickyard Battalion after leading for 50 minutes. Game was equalized, a goal apiece in the 68th minute. Ari Spriggs with the tap-in on the sublime service from Nicky Law. Our Sherwin-Williams final score. It's the Indy 11-2, Atlanta United 1. Sherwin-Williams has more than 25 locations across Indianapolis. Your neighborhood paint store is always there to provide the perfect finish. This will end our broadcast for those of you that are watching on ESPN+. Those of you in Indianapolis, don't go anywhere on My Indy TV. We'll have the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show presented by Bet Rivers. We'll hear from the winning head coach and Mark Lowry, and we'll hear from both goal scorers tonight in terms of Nicky Law and Ari Spriggs. The home fans go home happy tonight. Indy 11-2, Atlanta United 2-1. Quick final thoughts from you, Brad.
Hey, 4 unbeaten. It's clicking. It's starting to click.
Perhaps in a playoff position as of this evening. First one belongs to Nicky Law. The last one belongs to Ari Spriggs. And this one belongs to the Indy 11, despite the efforts of Jackson Conway. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV and ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.